This is a quick tutorial to show how to Kitchener stitch your crocheted infinity cowl closed. This cowl is made in the round using the center single crochet stitch. This is my beginning of round, and then it goes all the way around to my last row, which is this white one right here. The center single crochet has V's that are very similar to the knit stitch, which is why we can use the Kitchener stitch traditionally used to seam knitting garments together, and it creates a more seamless look versus the mattress stitch. So I've already done a section here that you can see how it looks like, and what we'll be doing is just picking up the next couple of stitches. You can use any yarn color. I've chosen to use the yarn color from my beginning of round, as it is darker and is easier to hide mistakes that happen when you're seaming your garments closed, or in this case, your cowl. So what we're going to do is just like with knitting, you're going to pick up your V of the stitch. In this last round, it's easier to pick up the V because it's a lot more visible and it's a lot more distinct. So we're just going to go under the two legs of the V. You can see that V right here. I recommend using a blunt tip needle to sew your crochet cowl closed, as it is easier to glide underneath the legs of the stitch versus a sharp pointed needle. It typically goes through your stitches and breaks the fiber. So this is the beginning of round here. This is where it's a little bit harder to pick up your stitches, and I apologize, it's also a dark yarn, so it's going to be harder to see where to pick up the stitch, but I'll try to describe it as best as possible. So here's my next V. It's not a very distinct V like it is at the top. We've got our first leg right here. We're going to go underneath this leg. There we go. And then our second leg is slightly horizontal here. So you kind of have to manipulate the stitch to get underneath it. And it's not a very distinct V, like I said, unlike the top, because this is our beginning of round where we're establishing that first round of crochet. And then you're just going to pull your yarn through. I'll do that a couple of more times, going through and underneath the V at my last round. All right, and then here we are going to go underneath our first leg right here. And then our next leg is just right here where the tip of the needle is, and it's slightly horizontal. So you just, again, have to kind of manipulate the stitch and the needle to be able to get your needle through and just pull it. I don't pull everything closed until I have about 5 or 6 stitches. So we'll get to that point. Under the V. And then here's my first leg. This is one of those stitches that once you've done it a few times, it gets easier to see. Oops, a little tangled there. It gets easier to see where those legs are. The first couple of stitches are going to be the hardest. So under the V on my last round. And then again, here's my first leg, my horizontal leg. We're going to go underneath that horizontal leg, pull the yarn through. And then here, I'm just going to hold the cowl, kind of pinch it closed a little bit. And then we're just going to just gently tug, and it'll pull all those stitches closed. And then what I do afterwards is I just kind of like massage the cowl a little bit to make sure that all of my stitches are clean and nothing is being tugged too tightly or too loose. And there you have it. You'll go continue throughout the entire cowl and join back to your beginning of round, and you will have your seamless infinity cowl closed.